and it comes from Kansas City Steak Company. This brand has been around since 1932, bringing you steak, my friends. Not just any steak, but delicious Midwestern-raised steak, and we're gonna get it to you in the Filet Mignon. 3 pounds in the tips, 2 pounds in the 2-ounce medallions. Today, 5 pounds of this delicious filet mignon is coming directly to your home from Kansas City Steak Company, and you're not paying $160. You're getting it home for $99.98 or 4 payments of $25 on a credit card. Juicy, tender, mouth-watering, but more than anything, quick and easy to prepare and versatile. Today, we have it for you, one of our best-selling items from Kansas City Steak Company. Give us a call and let us know how you use yours. And if you're ordering this, and 132934 is your item number. Now, here's what I will tell you right away. Ralph Pallarino's here.
Yes.
He's a former restaurateur, chef extraordinaire, has been bringing us Kansas City Steak Company for several years now. Ralph, when it comes to the tips and the medallions,
yes,
these are like the two favorites of every customer that buys from Kansas City Steak Company.
Yeah, and I think they like it because it's versatile. There's so many things you could do with these. You think Monday through Sunday, and I don't know about you, but I cook every night, and I'm always like, what am I gonna cook tonight? And this is that you could do whatever you want with these. You can go from taco to surf and turf.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, that's such a range.
Look at steak and salad. Maybe it's grilling kebabs. Maybe you're turning it into a surf and turf or steak and eggs. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. All of them are applicable with our Kansas City Steak Company filet mignon tips or the medallions, which is what you're seeing here. Now, again, give us a call. We'd love for you to share your story. 1-800-395-1601. You can get these immediately. We can ship them to you on April 21st if you're waiting for after Easter and you want to have some room in your freezer, or May 5th, but lock it in on auto delivery because almost everybody's done that today, and get it every 90 days for a full year. If you do that, you're going to save an additional $180 over the next year with your auto delivery. And 132934 is your item number. Okay, over 9,000 orders placed since midnight, and add that to the countless people that have picked up the Kansas City Steak tips from us here.
Yeah. I think people love these because they're consistent. And let's face it, filet mignon is not to be taken lightly.
Is there anything better? No. There's a reason it's called filet mignon.
Which comes from the tenderloin. So if you hear tenderloin, you think filet mignon. Filet mignon is the cut of steak that comes from the tenderloin. Now, why do we love these? We love these because these are easy to cook. And these medallions...
Yeah, so that's the medallion. What's a medallion?
The medallions are 2 ounces a piece. So think this way. This is like center of the plate if you're counting calories, counting points. This is easy because if you want, for example, let's do this. I want a petite 4-ounce filet. There you go, right there. 1, 2. That's 4 ounces. You know exactly what you're getting. If you want to add to that, now you have a 6-ounce center cut filet mignon.
And do you know how much that cost? $7.50. That's it.
That's crazy.
That's $7.50.
Yeah.
That's why our customers have loved the medallions or the Kansas City Steak tips for years here at QVC. We're giving you the steakhouse quality steak at the not steakhouse price point, because I went to a steakhouse the other day, and the steak on the menu was $68 for the filet mignon.
That's crazy.
$68 for the filet mignon, and I don't think it was actually like, I think it was like an 8-ounce perhaps, like maybe.
Probably, yeah. And like I've told you this, so my wife only eats filet mignon. Yeah. And I always tell people, they think, well, you must have filet mignon all the time in your freezer. I'm like, no, that's not true. Yeah. When I have to actually go buy a filet mignon, and there's times that I try to switch out a sirloin for the filet mignon. Oh, yeah. But she knows. Yes, she knows. Because it's the mouthfeel. Tenderloin is just different than any other steak. Oh, yeah. It's tender, and it's buttery, and it's rich. And ours happen to be super rich.
Okay, so listen. We're going to talk to you about where it comes from. Okay. We're going to talk to you about how you're going to use them. Here's what I want you to see. When they come to you, you're going to get, now these right over here, Ralph, this is what? Are these the?
So these are the medallions.
These are medallions.
You get 4. So consider this an 8-ounce filet cut up in 2-ounce increments.
So 4 medallions in each one of these packets. You're going to get 16 medallions, so you're going to get 4 packets just like this.
Correct.
Now, in our 1 pound of the tips,
that's right,
you're going to get about how many tips in each one of these?
About 16 to 18.
About 16 tips to 18 tips in each one of these. You're going to get 3 bags like this. Altogether, 5 pounds, coming home for just $25 on a credit card, M132934. Now, we're going to show you the tips right over here, because when you look at the tips, you're going to say to yourself, like, well, they're not that much smaller than the medallions, quite frankly, right? Because the tips are all over basically an ounce each.
Right. So the difference with the tips is they're mismatched. They're not uniform like the medallion. And you're going to see when I show you on the tenderloin.
Yeah.
Still filet mignon, but what I love about these, for example, is the surface area. You see how you get like this crust all around these. This is still filet mignon. I love just grabbing a couple of these, putting them in the air fryer, and look at that.
Oh, I mean, how perfectly cooked is that? Now, how long did that take in the air fryer?
I don't know, like 10 minutes.
10 minutes in the air fryer. Now, what do you do? What do you do? How do you prepare it on the outside?
Okay, so what I do is you defrost them. It's very important to defrost these and then rid them of any moisture.
So you dry them out.
With a towel. Get like a paper towel, coat them with your favorite olive oil, and then you literally just put them on a pan or in the air fryer. Now, keep in mind, these cook fast. They also come in temperature fast. If you take these out at medium rare, they will go to medium within 10 minutes.
Okay.
So either eat them super fast or pull them out under, like medium rare.
Because meat continues to cook when you pull it out of the oven. All right, so listen, tacos, steak sandwiches, stews and soups, all of those things, chilies, right? We're going to show you every single one of these things in this presentation. Give us a call if you love Kansas City Steak Company, or maybe you've had the tips for the medallions before. Tell us what your favorite item is from Kansas City Steak Company. You know, I know what Rachel's is. It's the hot dogs.
She loves hot dogs,
right? But the thing is that those hot dogs, right, like they're made with steak as well.
Yeah, prime rib,
the burgers that you bring to us, the steak burgers that you bring to us for years.
It all starts here.
Yeah, this is where it comes from.
So I'll tell you a fun story.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law, old school. Okay?
Yeah.
She loves making stews. That's like her thing.
Like my mom.
And she loves the fact that it takes 3 or 4, she gloats about how long it takes and how she slaved over. And I said, all right, listen, how about I give you some of the filet tips and you can make your stew in 30 minutes.
Oh.
And she was happy. And she was sad. She was sad because now she can't gloat. It took 4 hours to make a stew. This takes 30 minutes because the tenderloin tips are already tender.
It's like that commercial where she throws the flour on her face. Remember that back in the day? We all knew that commercial. So look at this, right? So this is like a beef stew, done with the tips, by the way, done with the tips. But every single bite is juicy and tender right out of the pot.
Yes.
And what's really nice about that is now that gets better and better and better.
100%.
Now, what are you doing over here? Is this like a ragu?
This is a bolognese sauce.
Bolognese, okay.
So what we've done here is we took our KitchenAid. We took about 6 or 7 of the tips.
Okay.
We put them in our KitchenAid. We pulsed them to make a ground filet mignon.
Wow.
So now, not only can you make a bolognese sauce, you can make your chili, you can make your tacos. I like ground beef. I will make filet all day.
Oh, yeah.
With the ground filet.
Me too.
There's so many things you could do with these. Having them in the freezer, and especially like auto delivery.
Yep.
It's just so great on a Tuesday when you're just like, you know what? I don't feel like going to the grocery store. I have some veg. I have those potatoes I got from Kansas City Steak Company.
Of course.
I'm going to take these out and just throw them in the air fryer, and you have filet mignon dinner.
Oof. Listen, everybody wants a filet mignon dinner. I don't know anybody that's like, nah, I could do without the filet mignon, right? 3,000 orders placed just in our show. If you want it, now is your chance to pick it up. We have it for you, where you're getting 3 pounds of the tips, which have always been popular. By the way, you are getting the seasoning packet as well. Don't turn your nose up at the seasoning packet because it's great.
Yeah.
And then we're also giving you 2 additional pounds of the 2-ounce medallions. That's 16 medallions that you're going to be able to serve as steaks. I remember the very first time I had medallions, Ralph.
Yeah.
I was in Kosovo. I went to a really, really nice restaurant, and it was medallones. Medallions were on the menu.
Right.
And I had never seen that before. And so I ordered them. They served them with like a beautiful mushroom sauce.
Right.
At that time, in Kosovo.
That's
right?
crazy.
How many years ago I paid $30 for the meal? This was over 20 years ago, right?
That's crazy.
Today, if you had 4 medallions on your plate, that would be less than $10 from Kansas City Steak Company and here at QVC.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy, right, when you think about it.
And just keep in mind, you can't get these at the grocery store.
Yeah, no,
because grocery stores just can't harvest enough. This took us 7 months.
Yeah.
But you'll never see medallions, you'll never see tips.
All right, so what do we have over here?
Okay, so this is where the tips and medallions come from. Because I know people are like, well, you're telling me it's filet mignon, but where's it coming from?
So right over there, this is a tenderloin.
So this is a tenderloin. Now, right here is the center of the tenderloin. This is where we get those 8-ounce filet mignons. And if we're lucky, we'll get maybe 2 or 3. What happens immediately right here, the tenderloin starts to taper off. As soon as it tapers off, we grab those 2-ounce medallions.
Yeah, and there's like what? How many can you get?
4.
Like 1 or 2? Okay, 4.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Then it dramatically tails off.
Yeah.
And that's where we get the tips.
Ooh.
From the wing and the tip.
Okay.
Or the tail.
And the tips, I mean, they have this great beefy flavor to them, right? Like,
I think they have the most flavor.
Yes, they do.
Because of where they're placed on the tenderloin.
Yeah.
They do have a little bit of fat to them.
Yeah.
You'll get a little fat.
Yeah.
And that's the flavor. So back to the medallions.
Right over here.
Right over here.
And look at, by the way, they
before.
do not. These do not shrink dramatically because there's no fat running through this, right? There's no like large pockets of like fat or anything or gristle that goes through a tenderloin.
No.
That's why so many people love filet mignon, right?
Right.
Now this one is a little bit more well done, or maybe it was sitting a little bit longer after we took it off the grill.
But still juicy.
Oh yeah, very juicy.
So, people don't realize like filet mignon has a good amount of marbling.
Yeah.
If the recipe, now I say recipe, so what's our recipe for the perfect filet mignon?
Okay.
Grass, we start with grass-fed cattle.
Oh.
We finish with corn. Corn is where you get the marbling. And then we wet age them for 28 days, and what you get, even I will say at medium well, a juicy filet medallion, because these are smaller. Like, can you imagine like an 8-ounce filet mignon?
Oh yeah. Well, here's the reason why I like this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a look right over here, right? So the reason why I love the medallions is, do you see you get all the charring on all these sides?
Right.
You don't get that. If you cook one big steak, you don't get all the different sides of charring.
No.
That is always the flavor. That's where the flavor is locked in on the outside. That's the flavor that you add to it. And then on the inside, when you cut into that, that's when you get that true beef flavor from the cattle. Now, here's the reason why you want to pick this up today. Well, first and foremost, it's because our today's special value, this price goes away at midnight tonight. Kansas City Steak Company, we're lucky if we get one today's special value a year. I feel like we don't get this every single year.
Right.
This is the very first time I've seen you do the medallions and the tips in a today's special value.
Right.
Which is really exciting that we have that. But the reason why you want to get this today is to lock it in on auto delivery. You get to lock in the value for the entire year. If you had last year's tips today's special value, your auto delivery is up, right? This is the last one that you got. You order this now, get this home, and then come on over here. We've got a little inspiration sideboard over here where you're going to be able to see, you get your first shipment home, then in July, you're doing a nice grill, right? You got your beans, you got your corn, you got your asparagus, and there's your steak. What about over here, right?
Yeah.
Come October, you want something a little bit more hearty. You're making steak sandwiches, right?
Yeah, you're at the Phillies game.
Like, I was going to say Philly cheesesteaks,
Phillies,
hey,
yep.
Baseball playoffs.
That's right.
Then we got right over here in January, there's your stews.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody wants to go outside. It's freezing. I want to be inside. I want that comfort food. And then right back over here to next April, you're making your steaks and your salads again. How much would you pay if you went to the steak restaurant and they chopped up a salad like that and cut up a steak and threw it on top for you? Would it be $5 per serving?
No.
Would it be $5 a serving? No way, right? Everybody in the back, even Jerry said it. Even Jerry said it.
Well, you know what steakhouses do, right? So they'll have like this beautiful salad on the menu, and then underneath it, it'll say, add filet mignon, add crab meat, add this.
And how much is that?
It's like in the 20s.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
And how much do you think you get on that salad?
You don't get more than 4 or 5 ounces for sure. Today, we're giving you the opportunity to try it out for yourself. I love a steak salad.
I do, too.
I love a steak salad. I do love it with like either like a blue cheese or a feta cheese, too.
And you know what's funny? Like, having these in the freezer is great because normally people have salad in the refrigerator.
Yep.
you usually have some sort of vegetable, right?
Somewhere.
So now all you're doing is going in the freezer, grabbing this, and you're like, oh, cool.
And they defrost you can cold defrost these very quickly.
In cold water, for some reason, 30 or 40 minutes.
Well, yeah, because they're not one solid steak, right?
No, they're just little,
they're all the different pieces, irregular shapes in the tips. But what's really nice about that is that you get all the different charred edges, and then the medallions are beautiful. They're just like these mini petites.
Like the